The American Revolution. Names like Washington, Jefferson, Adams, and Hancock spring readily to mind. But the Revolution was the work of ordinary people, men and women whose names we do not remember, whose lives we do not celebrate. They made the revolution, and in the process were themselves transformed by it. One of these people was a Boston shoemaker named George Robert Twelves Hughes. Come along, Jenny.
Oh, look, Mother, it's Mr. Lewis.
Lady Mrs. Bancroft, did you have a fine July 4th?
Yes, thank you. Jenny, come on.
Ah, Mr. Hughes. Thank you for coming. Now, I only have a few more questions, and I think our little interview will be ready for publication. Oh, by the way, how is the portrait going?
Oh, that artist's a right clever young man. Painting's almost done. The painter told me he wants to call it the Centenarian.
Yes, the centenarian. I must say, you don't strike me as a man nearing a century.
Always abided Bull Richard's advice, early to bed and early to rise, makes a man healthy, wealthy, and wise. Well, at least healthy.
Ben Franklin, yes. Now, we established in our earlier talks that you were born here in Boston.
Born under the sign of the Bull's Head and Horns near the South End docks. My father was a tanner and currier, see, before he fall on hard times. Then he was a soap boiler for a spell.
Yes, and that with the sudden death of your father, your mother was left destitute. That she, too, soon succumbed, and your uncle arranged to have you apprenticed to a shoemaker.
I'm afraid the family didn't have no money to pay the indenture fee for a higher trade.
It was in the latter period of your apprenticeship in 1762 or 63 that you say you first met one of our illustrious founding fathers, John Hancock. He was pleased with the shoe work you'd done for him and invited you to pay a call on New Year's.
As was the custom of the day. Oh, I was in a state, I was. Me, a shoemaker's apprentice, paying a call on one of Boston's great merchants. It was a cold New Year's. I bucked up my courage and went to the front door, hat in my hand, heart in my mouth. I knocked. The servant answered. I gave a right cute bow.
Yes, and what is it now?
George Hughes to see Squire Hancock.
Come with me then, young man.
I had a pretty speech ready.
By your leave, Squire, I come to give you New Year's greetings, and I'm much pleased to do so, as it is an honor, sir, to perform custom work for you. And it is my hope, Squire, that you'll do me the honor, that is the greater honor, to allow me to perform similar service in the future. And now, I bid you good day.
Very well, my lad. This crown piece is for you in appreciation of your punctual attendance. And my compliments to you on your work as well. Now, let us drink to your health and luck in the coming year, shall we?
He poured out wine for the
Thank
two
you,
of us,
sir.
and we ticked glasses. Well, he ticked mine. I'd never seen the
good day.
custom before, but I think I acquitted myself creditably. Then I made a fast bow and was out.
Mr. Hughes, your memory is quite extraordinary. This visit occurred, what, 72, 73 years ago? How is it, then, that you neglected to mention, when we talked of your setting up shop as a shoemaker, that you ran into debt and were remanded to prison in 1770?
Well, at my age, Mr. Thatcher, you do forget some things. 1770. A hard time for Boston shoemakers.
Yet in our last conversation, you insisted on details about the Boston Massacre that, frankly, sir, I find highly dubious.
Such as?
Such as your contention that the infamous incident derived from a street brawl between British troops and Boston's rope makers.
It's true. Happened at Gray's Rope Walk, right again my shop on Griffin's Wharf. A long, low building where they made the rope to outfit ocean-going ships. You see, tempers were flaring since the damn redcoat invasion of Boston in the fall of 1768. George III's bloody backs, that's what we called them. 4,000 sent to enforce customs laws.
You there, come over here.
Can you imagine what it was like having your town ruled by soldiers, taking over houses, patrolling the streets, challenging citizens right in their own home?
I'll take that shovel, mate. You run along now.
Hard enough they took over Boston, but damn it, they stole many a mechanic's job as well. The soldiers were allowed to find work when they was off duty, selling their labor for a pittance.
Will you give me a hand with this line, huh?
So when this private showed up at Gray's establishment looking for work...
Hey, do you see what I see, Comet? Another damn soldier from the 29th Regiment looking for off-duty work, I'll wager. And what can I do for you, my fine man?
I come to ask if ye be needing any hands in your rope walk.
Oh, it's work you want, huh, soldier?
Faith it is.
Well, I have a job for you. You can go and clean my outhouse.
Damn ye! I'll not take such lip from a Yankee. I demand satisfaction.
You demand satisfaction, are you? Bloody lobster back. Will this do?
You haven't heard the last of this, ye
And that's how it went. The redcoat come back with half his blasted regiment, but the rope walkers were ready. It was quite a brawl, and the rope boys got the best of them. Then the redcoats really wanted satisfaction.
I take it you mean March 5th, 1770? The massacre?
A massacre.
You say you were there. Is this what it looked like?
No snow.
Snow, Mr. Hughes.
The city was covered in a blanket of snow, sir. There must have been half a foot on the ground.
Besides the snow, is this accurate? The engraving was done by Paul Revere, you know.
Well, Revere was a fine silversmith and a good patriot, but he wasn't there. The confusion's there, sure, but where's the black man, Attucks, and where's the lads like the barber's apprentice?
Yes, I wanted to ask you about that. You claim it was a barber's boy who instigated the massacre? That's a rather extraordinary explanation for how the massacre occurred.
It's what happened. The lad had gone to the custom house on King Street looking for a redcoat who'd welched on his bill.
Who goes there? State your business.
Call out that lieutenant of yours. Go.
The sentry on duty argued with the boy.
It's you, laddie. Goldfinch is a gentleman.
Gentleman, huh?
Yeah, and he always pays his debts.
There ain't a gentleman in your regiment, and Goldfinch is a thief.
Come into the light where I can see you.
I ain't afraid to show my face.
Hey, what'd you do that for?
I was attracted by the clamor. By the time I got there, boys and men were pelting the sentry with snowballs and ice.
What'd you do that for, you?
What do you
Oh, now we'll see who's...
The main guard come running down the street from the barracks. I recognized some of the soldiers from the rope walk fight.
Some of the consequences.
Never!
You bloody lobster!
One of them, named Kilroy, he was shouting, "Get out of the way, get out of the way." He hit me in the shoulder with the butt of his musket.
Oh, you bloody
My men are ready. Disperse, I say.
I heard the captain.
Disperse, damn you. Disperse or some of the consequences.
Hey, dear God! Help me! Don't fire! Don't fire! Don't fire!
They fired. Somehow I wasn't hit. James Caldwell was flung into my arms, shot in the back. 4 others fell dead. I saw Kilroy stab a rope walker, getting him back for the fight.
A motley mob of saucy boys, Negroes and mulattoes, Irish teagues and outlandish jactars. That's how John Adams, later our second president, described the mob when he defended the captain at the trial.
Motley mob. Knew many of that motley mob. I suppose Adams was referring to the likes of me.
Then maybe you'll be able to tell me what these coffin initials mean on this broadside.
Aye. All laboring men. S.G. was Sam Gray, rope walker. S.M. Sam Maverick. He was all 17s, I remember. Apprentice to an ivory turner. His mother was in the crowd as well. P.C. Patrick Garr, Irish. Leather breeches journeyman. J.C. Jim Caldwell, ship's mate. I knew 'em all. All but C.A., that was Christopher Attucks, the Negro sailor. Aye, a massacre. It's like a signpost on my road. After it, I was so riled up I couldn't keep still.
So you began to participate in Boston town meetings?
No.
I thought you just said you became an active citizen.
Aye, but I didn't have enough property, so I wasn't allowed to vote at town meetings in Faneuil Hall. Well, really big meetings, though. They was held in the old South Meeting House. The biggest building in Boston, room enough for 6,000 people. Well, those meetings I attended, meetings of the whole body of the people, we call them, open to all patriots, no matter what their rank. Like the last one before the Tea Party in December of '73.
Mr. Samuel Adams.
Let's hear it for Mr. Adams.
Friends, brethren, countrymen, in our meetings, we have stated our opinion of the odious Tea Act. We have resolved that the duty imposed by Parliament upon tea is a tax without our consent.
Amen.
Now, the East India Company's ships filled to their gunwales with tea lie out in Boston Harbor. The company's effort to land its tea and force the payment of this tax is a violent attack upon American liberties.
Well spoken, Mr. Adams, well spoken.
Brethren, what will Parliament tax next? Salt? Then cider? Soon there'll be a tax on windows.
Yes.
Indeed, Parliament will finally move to its real object, our plentiful and bounteous American land.
Never happen,
It's
boys.
time to act.
Let's see how tea and salt water mix. I recognize the Honorable John Hancock, Esquire.
Yeah!
We have taken every step we can to redress our grievance. If the tea is landed, we are undone.
That's right.
Midnight is the deadline. 'Tis time to act together.
Yes.
Right.
I say to you, I would be willing to lose my fortune and my life in so good a cause.
Order! Mr. Adams!
I can think of nothing further to be done by this meeting. We've done all we can for the salvation of our country.
The Mohawks are come!
To your tents, O Israel. Boston Harbor, a teapot tonight.
Let's go. Where? We must
Then we'll to the ships to the
Word gone round beforehand about what to do and how. I don't recall by who, if I ever knew, but it was like a chain of instructions, and I was one of the links. I stopped by a blacksmith shop, painted my face and my hands with coal dust, and repaired to Griffin's Wharf, where the tea ships was anchored. It was a cold, dark December night. The wharf was filled with that motley mob you spoke of earlier.
talk like a red man.
be sure to hurt no one.
tea's our object.
Mechanics, lots of apprentices and journeymen and the like. They disguised themselves best they could. One of the leaders was dressed as Indians.
Here, help me with the chest.
My pleasure.
We clambered aboard. Some men worked the winches while others cut open the chests with their tomahawks. This chest was heavy, let me tell you. 300 chests in all, I recollect. A couple hundred weight each. We dumped the tea into the harbor.
There we go.
What a pile of tea it was. A plaguey mess of tea, Boston Harbor. One big, chilly teapot. The crowd stood and watched from the docks, but you never heard a peep from them.
I've been looking into one of your statements in our last conversation. The one about John Hancock participating in the Tea Party.
He was there. One of my associates, dressed up like an Indian.
It's not likely, Mr. Hughes. Everything I've read says the Patriot leaders were not there. Too risky for them.
Oh, he was there, all right. At one point, he was busy chopping at the same tea chest. I recognized him by his manner and dress.
Mr. Hughes, you just stated that Hancock was disguised as an Indian.
But in the heat of his work, his ruffles peeked out from under the costume. And even with the paint and his hair loose, I could tell who it was.
I find your assertion highly dubious.
It was a long step from his dropping a crown piece in my shaking hand 10 years earlier. I wasn't carrying as many coins in my pocket as Hancock at the tea party, but we was equals in the fight nonetheless.
I remain unconvinced, sir.
Mr. Thatcher, if you want to hear about the revolution the way you're asking it, I'm no man for the task. That's been written down in lots of books and will be in many more. I can only tell you what I saw, what I felt, and what happened to me.
Yes, but Hancock, Mr. Hughes. With you?
And why not Hancock, sir? He was a patriot merchant. I was a patriot shoemaker. Regardless of rank and wealth, I was as good as any man. That's what I felt cutting into those chests, flinging the tea into the cold harbor. As you might remember, I was almost killed making the point to a Tory just a month after the Tea Party.
Ah, yes, the Malcolm incident. I have a question about that as well. Have you ever seen this picture before?
No.
It's what a British cartoonist thought of the tar and feathering that Malcolm received at the hands of the Boston mob. Here's another.
The Boston Patriots didn't treat Malcolm gently. I'll not argue with that. But that drawing there, it may show Malcolm in his New England jacket, as we called it then, but it don't show why he was tarred and feathered. It was late one afternoon in January '74. I was on my way back to my shop when I saw a man standing over a young boy. I recognized him as John Malcolm, the notorious customs officer. A mean man with a mean temper.
How dare you run your filthy little sled over my way?
Malcolm was cursing and shaking his cane at the boy. I feared a blow from such a weapon would surely kill the lad. I intervened.
You what? You didn't mean to.
Surely the boy didn't mean any harm.
How dare you address a gentleman? Why, I ought
I
to...
might be poor, but I'll not take such offense from any man.
So there! Oh, vagabond!
Whereupon he hit me over the head.
Stop him!
That evening, while I was recovering, a crowd took Malcolm from his house. They paraded him on a sled to King Street, where they put him in a cart.
Stop!
A gentleman stepped in and tried to take Malcolm from the crowd.
Let Malcolm go, lad.
Never!
A New England jacket.
That is a tar!
Leave Malcolm to the law. The parties he's abused can receive satisfaction in court.
Malcolm deserves anything he gets.
Bloody customs man. He seized a ship in Portsmouth over a sailor's undeclared bottle of gin.
Informer! Bloody informer!
Look what he's done to George Hughes. It's the last straw.
It's the last.
Time, fellow!
That Tory attacking an honest citizen.
You must allow the law to run its course with Malcolm.
What course did the law take with Captain Preston and his damned redcoats after the massacre?
Pardon for the captain, that's what.
And the clemency for his murdering men.
Malcolm's not to be trusted to no judges.
Tar and feather.
We'll take satisfaction our own.
Oh, they stripped Malcolm down to his buff and breeches in the bitter cold. Then they gave him a coat of tar and feathers. I can't say I enjoyed the spectacle. I don't get no pleasure out of others' pain. But the patriots tarred and feathered Malcolm because there seemed no other way to redress the grievance.
Like the Tea Party?
Wasn't too long after that I waved goodbye to Boston for good. After the Battle of Lexington and Concord in 75, after the war begun, the British took over the town. Along with other able-bodied men, I was trapped. I managed to escape, made my way to Rentham, 30 miles from Boston, where I'd sent my family. Set up a cordwainer's shop there.
Yes, but soon you are off again. Isn't that what you told me?
I served on 2 privateers, capturing British ships. Also did 4 stints in the Massachusetts militia.
You had 4 children by that time. Do you think that was the correct thing to do, Mr. Hughes? To absent yourself from your family?
It was a hard decision. Didn't make it lightly. Every time I left, I felt pain. But I kept thinking about the suffering inflicted on the people of the town, of the troops abusing citizens, of the usurpation and tyranny of Great Britain. I couldn't get it out of my mind. I was filled with an unextinguishable desire to help in chastising the British and securing our independence. Independence. There's one incident during the war says it all. One story I didn't tell you, Mr. Thatcher. In 78 or 79, after serving on a privateer and in the militia, I enlisted once more on a ship, the Hancock, a fine 20-gun vessel. One day, just before we was to cast anchor, I came across an officer of the Hancock in the street.
How do you do, Lieutenant?
What was that? Were you addressing me, Jack Tar?
That I was, Lieutenant.
Take your damn hat off when addressing an officer.
Pardon?
Are you deaf, sailor? Take your damned hat off.
To hell with you and the Hancock. I'll not take my hat off to any man.
I sailed on a good ship defense instead. I'll not take my hat off to any man. Not the best of manners, perhaps. Not molded by the fashion of the day. You might call it tea party etiquette. Oh, it wasn't acquired at tea parties or fancy balls or dinners. I've been stuck in the backwoods since then, away from Boston, but I never forgot that etiquette. Do you catch my meaning now, Mr. Thatcher?
Yes. I think I do.
Look, the stories about the Tea Party and such, they're fine. Yet, the revolution was more than that. The stories are important and people rightly remember them. But, you see, the likes of me, we made the revolution. And in making it, we was changed. A man could be poor, but he was a citizen nonetheless. That's what made the revolution matter. To all of those I leave behind me, that's what they should know. You should write me up in that manner, Mr. Thatcher. And this is the way I hope to be remembered in the portrait to hang here in Boston. Do you think people will remember me, Mr. Thatcher? Do you think they'll remember?